Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Sunday, March 19th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with results from All Elite Wrestling's first house show. The start of AEW's House Rules tour took place last night at the Hobart Arena in Troy, Ohio. In the main event, ROH World Champion Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley of the Blackpool Combat Club defeated Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. Powerhouse Hobbs made his second successful defense of the TNT Championship, defeating Christopher Daniels. Anna Jay made her return to action on the show after a 2-month absence, losing via submission to Britt Baker. Jay had not wrestled since January due to a rib injury. AEW's Director of Business Development, Jeff Jarrett, who helped to launch the House Rules live event tour, also wrestled on the card, defeating fellow second-generation wrestler Brian Pillman Jr. In other results from the show, International Champion Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin beat The Butcher and the Blade, QT Marshall beat Pat Buck, and Ethan Page topped Shawn Dean in the opener. Following that match, Page demanded another opponent, which brought out Hook, who retained his FTW title. PW Insider reported that the crowd was approximately 200 seats short of a sellout, with WrestleTix estimating a live crowd of about 3,200, although these numbers have not been confirmed as of this recording. This was the first pro wrestling card presented in the Hobart Arena in 12 years. In ratings news, SmackDown's overnight ratings numbers are in, with Spoiler TV reporting that the total audience for last Friday's episode on Fox was 2.122 million, up from the previous week's overnight total of 2.141 million viewers. The overnight report also had the rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic at 0.52, which was an increase from the previous week. Full ratings information for SmackDown is expected later this week. In injury news, Danhausen is scheduled for surgery this week to repair his torn right pectoral muscle, according to a Fightful Select report. He sustained the injury during the 4-way tag team title match at AEW Revolution a week ago. It is not known how long he might be out of action for, but rehab will most likely take months. Chuck Taylor missed last week's Dynamite and Rampage tapings due to an emergency dental surgery, according to a Twitter post from Taylor last week. He's expected to be out of action while in recovery, according to Fightful, but a timetable for his return has also not been made public. Turning to Japan, Michinoku Pro Wrestling held its 30th anniversary show yesterday at the Yahaba Townsman Gymnasium in Yahaba, Japan. The main event saw MPW Tohoku Junior Heavyweight Champion Hayato Jr. Fujita successfully defend his title against Musashi in 24 minutes and 18 seconds. In other results from the show, 33-year veteran Shinobu Kandori defeated Michinoku Pro co-founder The Great Sasuke, and another Michinoku Pro co-founder, Jinsei Shinsaki, defeated OSO 11. Michinoku Pro held its first show in the same building on March 16, 1993. Today in Yokohama, Jake Lee won Noah's top title. Lee defeated Kaito Kiyomiya in 35 minutes 36 seconds at the Budokan to win his first global honored crown. Also on the show, Masa Kitamiya and Daiki Inaba defeated Keno and Manabu Soya to retain the GHC Tag Team title, while Yoshinori Ogawa and Aita held on to their GHC Junior Tag Team title with a win over Hayata and Chris Ridgway. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, the last two semifinal matches of the company's New Japan Cup are taking place today at the G-Messi Convention Center in Gunma. The card is still ongoing as of this report's recording. We'll have any newsworthy items in tomorrow's edition. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.